So it's been about 2 weeks since Clancy has dropped, and that's given me enough time to kind of solidify my feelings on the album. The recency bias has died off, and now I'm able to see the album for what it is. Now, initially, I was a little frustrated with the album, kind of like how I felt with Scaled and Icy after listening to that for the first time. There weren't a ton of lore implications on the surface, and because Tyler said that this would have to be the most lore focused album during interviews, I was left a little disappointed and deflated. However, it's finally clicked with me. I finally understand the album for what it is. Clancy is a character study on the hero of the story, just like how Blurryface is a character study of the villain. It's literally a Blurryface 2.0 in the sense that Blurryface details the villain and his goals and motivations. In the same way, Clancy details the hero where he's at in his journey and what his goals and motivations are. And this is why the I Am Clancy video is so important, because Tyler is not only recapping the lore for the new and the old fans alike, but he's literally proclaiming that he is Clancy and vice versa. He is spelling out that Clancy is a story of him and his current struggles, but also what Clancy is currently struggling with within the Dima lore. During the live stream, Tyler confirmed that this album serves as a snapshot of where he's at personally.
I felt like you guys were owed. You guys deserve to know how I'm doing, maybe how I got here through my journey. And I just want to say thank you guys. I was thinking of you when I wrote this.
This is important because this whole album has an underlying tone and is coded in addiction. Because Tyler is Clancy, the album details his struggles currently, just like how Blurryface detailed and fleshed out Nico. And it does this in the same writing style as Blurryface, where Blurryface delivered all these messages without any crazy lore before we knew that this was a part of an extended universe with all this verbiage and terminology that we would later come to discover in the Trench universe. Clancy kind of gives that same stripped back approach in its writing style to detail its protagonist. This is the album's focus. It's a character study on the hero, Clancy, who is also Tyler. And Clancy is struggling with the passage of time, backsliding into old habits, and addiction. The biggest evidence of this is during the live stream after Vignette plays, where Tyler literally calls out this song as a struggle with addiction. And all these struggles have in-universe parallels that the character of Clancy is dealing with. You just have to dig a little bit deeper to figure out how each song from Clancy ties into the overall persona. And if you look at it, almost every single song off Clancy somehow details the struggle with addiction. Let's take a look. Okay, so Overcompensate. He's fresh off of failing the last cycle. He's going into a brand new cycle. It's a fresh attempt. He's overcompensating for the last failure, and he's confident that he won't fail again. He's ready to fight. He has a brand new passion and fire to fight this thing off. Next Semester builds off of Overcompensate. This track is about starting fresh, making sure you don't repeat the same past mistakes. He reflects on this traumatic experience and how he backslid so far to enter a life-compromising situation. He's basically reinforcing the idea that he's starting off fresh and he can't allow that to happen again. Backslide, we see some time passing a little bit and the temptation is starting to seep back in. Throughout the song, Tyler's reinforcing himself and reiterating why he can't backslide once again. He reaches out to friends, family, God to make sure he doesn't slide back to where he started from. Midwest Indigo, nothing really here. It's just a fun song about being cold in Ohio. Routines in the Night. Now, like the album Vessel reinforced, night is when the struggles arise, and as Tyler goes to sleep, he thinks and dreams of all the failures of his previous shortcomings, and these things haunt him, just like how the bishops are constantly looming over Clancy. Vignette. Now, Tyler literally calls this one out as being a song about addiction in the live stream.
The song Vignette, there's a few interpretations of it. I think for me, it makes the most sense when I look at it from perspective of addiction and what that can feel like at times, a certain type of season of that. And that's why this song is very special to me.
He details having a binger in a forest, coming out like a dazed, mindless zombie after losing himself to addiction with shaking hands and marks all over his skin, a physical consequence and byproduct of the relapse and withdrawal. The vignette is almost like tunnel vision that acts like blinders. It swallows you whole when you succumb to it, resulting to another binger in a forest. The Craving. Now, this is a love song about Jenna, but the title, The Craving, definitely alludes to addiction. lavish. This is nothing other than just flexing on the music industry and also getting screwed by it. Imagine if Nico is the proctologist at the end of Paladin Strait. Yeah, I don't want to do that actually. Navigating. Growing old sucks, and people who are in your life always leave or pass away. This leads to self-destructive tendencies as you dissociate. Snapback. Now this one is pointing out that keeping track of a positive streak of sobriety can be hurtful. But remember, just because you backslide doesn't undo all the progress you've made along the way. To me, the craziest line in Snapback is when Tyler specifically calls out addiction when he says, running from a thing that I kicked in 17, aka 2017. So he successfully kicked an addiction in 2017, only for it to later resurface. Clancy may have been victorious over the Bishops for a long streak of time, but now their power is seeping back. They're returning to power, and he's succumbing to their control. Oldie Station is about learning how to deal with the passage of time, which is another thematic consistency with all of 21 Pilots songs. Think of Ride, right? Basically, it's how you learn from really hard things in life and how you focus on the positives so you can push on through. These positive elements will help you not slide back into addiction and cycles. At the Risk of Feeling Dumb is all about checking in on other friends who also may be struggling. This is one of the most important messages on the album. Paladin Strait, it all culminates with this song, the final confrontation with Nico. This is Clancy's last chance. He has to take it. Tyler ultimately has to put his money where his mouth is. After singing about all these battles during his entire music career, he has to do it for himself. He's burned all of his bridges to ensure that this is the final time. He's at the point of no return. And the view of the person on the other side gives him confidence that he'll make it, especially because this person expects him to make it. This accountability helps against falling back into addiction. And this is where the song ends. It ends abruptly. It's a cliffhanger. It's almost unfinished. And if the music video of Paladin Strait doesn't really attempt to resolve things past the song, I'll be a little bit disappointed. I think that there is something that's being set up here and it doesn't feel complete. As for the form of addiction that Tyler is struggling with, it's really none of our business. But it's so interesting how this final album really tackles these cycles we've been talking about since Vessel and props them up for the final battle. Where I thought this album would be a confident, quote unquote, take the battle back to the Bishops victory album, it really details why the Bishops and addiction is so harmful. It tries to identify the heart of the issue and the problem at large. This album is about Tyler and Clancy and how they struggle with blurry face and addictions. I'm really excited to see how this ends. Like I said, there could be a double album. There could be a deluxe version with a couple extra songs on there, which I think would be the best case, most realistic scenario. If Paladin Strait does end the way it does and the music video truly is the finale, I think I will be disappointed. I mean, obviously it's all in how they handle it, how they handle the conclusion of the album, and the music video could have a lot of answers that the song doesn't have. But like I said earlier, it feels incomplete. But I want to hear your thoughts. Did I miss anything that attributes to those themes? Let me know in the comments below. If you want to support me just a little bit further and fuel my caffeine addiction, buy me a coffee. The link is in the description. And as always, call somebody today, whether that's a friend or a family member. You may be saving their life. This is Jake with Stolen Potential, and I will see you when I see you.